Buying or selling a home is a big deal, and let's be honest, it can be stressful and very expensive. But what if I told you there are free online tools that can help you save money and make the process easier? Whether you're figuring out pricing, comparing mortgage rates, or just trying to avoid costly mistakes, these 4 resources are super helpful. Hey, I'm James Unger, a realtor here in Grand Bay, Westfield, New Brunswick. I know how overwhelming selling or buying can feel, so I love sharing tips that make things simpler. Today I'm breaking down 4 free tools that every buyer and seller should check out before making any big decisions. Stick around to the end because I've got a bonus resource that can make the process even simpler. If you find this helpful or have any questions, don't hesitate to pick up your phone and give me a call or text. My contact information is right here as well as in the description below. The first website I'd like to bring to your attention is Service New Brunswick's Property Assessment Online. Now, all the websites I bring to your attention will be linked in the description below. Service New Brunswick's Property Assessment Online is a great resource for both buyers and sellers. Let's take a look at 458 Windsor Street to provide an illustration of what information you can get from Service New Brunswick's Property Assessment Online. So immediately you see an aerial view of the property, probably taken from Google Earth, showing the approximate boundary in red. This is a good resource for buyers. This is a common question I get from almost all buyers is, where are the property boundaries? And this gives an approximation. It shouldn't be used in lieu of a survey. It is an approximation only. Now, the second feature to note here on Property Assessment Online is it gives the sales history of the specific property you're interested in. So for 458 Windsor, you could see it sold in 2022 for $345,000 and a couple times previous to that. If you scroll down, you will also see other properties that have sold recently nearby. Now, just a block away, 416 Windsor Street sold in 2024 for $220,000. And that's the property right there. Now, there's a bit of a price difference, obviously. This property looks smaller, the footprint looks smaller. But whether you're a buyer or seller, this is extremely important information in understanding the current market value in the neighborhood you're either looking to sell in or purchase in. Now, the third bit of information that's quite valuable is just under the property tab is the assessment. Here for 416 Windsor Street, it was assessed at $215,400 in 2024, and its tax levy was $2,856.53. That's an important piece of information for any buyer to be fully aware of what their property taxes will be for the property they're interested in. Now, this property in 2025 was assessed higher, and the property taxes will go up accordingly. The second website I'd like to bring to your attention is also offered through Service New Brunswick. It is GEO NB Map Viewer. So just click the link there and accept the terms. And similar to the SNB Property Assessment Online, you can search by specific property. And for illustration, I'll bring up 10 William Street in Grand Bay, Westfield. And it zooms right into the property. Right here, again, you can see the approximate boundaries. If you zoom out a little bit, the thing to note here is the Narrapis River and marsh back onto the property. Now, the Narrapis River flows into the St. John River right here. And if you go up to the layer section above, click on that. A couple things I'm going to bring to your attention. There's a lot of information on this website, but in New Brunswick, there are properties subject to flooding. The St. John River does flood annually, some years worse than others. Now here, if you expand the historical flood information, the 2008 and 2018 flood extents are defaulted, and these were the two most recent, well, the two worst flooding um, seasons we've had on record. Now, if you click the historical flood information tab, you can see, for example, how much the properties on William and along the Narrapis Road here have flooded. In 2008, for example, it's highlighted in purple. The flood extents in 2008 are along here. Some of these properties, the floodwaters came halfway up, and some almost, well, entirely flooded. If you scroll down, in 2018, the flood extents were even further, as that was a worse flood. But this is a great resource. Obviously, if you don't have the appetite to be in a flood-prone area, you want to be aware of whether it has a history of flooding or not. Now, obviously, there's things that a property owner can do to mitigate the extent of flooding on their property. But, this could potentially save you as a buyer thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, as well as the stress and headache involved with potential flooding event. Okay, let's click out of the historical flood information. And another thing to note here is the wetland tab. Now here, if you click on the wetlands, what comes up is a red line, which represents the 30-meter buffer, as well as an area highlighted in yellow, which actually represents the wetland itself. Now, these wetlands are protected, so there is limited development that you could do in these areas. And in fact, there's limited development you can do within the 30-meter buffer of a wetland. Now, this is obviously important. For example, this property here, only a small corner of it can be developed without getting a special permit to develop within the buffer. Now, the permit is offered, you can apply for a permit through WAWA, which is the Watercourse and Wetland Alteration Permit through the government of New Brunswick, but there's no guarantee they will permit development within the 30-meter buffer. Obviously, it depends on the extent of the development and the potential disturbance to the protected wetlands beyond. Now, again, very valuable, important information for any property, whether it's a rural property or a property within St. John, Grand Bay, Westfield, Rothsay. There are protected wetlands scattered throughout. Now, as stated, there are a lot of additional features here. For example, the measuring tool, it's a cool little feature. If you click on the measuring tool, for example, on 10 William, this is probably a garage. I can click to see how far the garage is from the property boundary, and it's 47 meters. Let's say you purchase this property and you want to build a big shop on it. You could get an idea whether you have the space to do that while respecting the setbacks outlined in the specific community's bylaws. Okay, that brings us to the third online resource, which are the zoning maps and respective zoning bylaws for the community you're looking to purchase in. In the St. John region, St. John obviously has their own zoning map and bylaws, as does Grand Bay Westfield, as does Rothsay and Quispamsis, for example. I'm just going to use the St. John zoning map. You can Google St. John zoning map and you will find it. You can search for specific properties, and we will use 458 Windsor Street again, just to give you an idea of the information you can get off of here. and it zooms right into where the property is located, and it has a zoning code of R1. Now, a nice function that this zoning map used to have, and I haven't been able to access it recently, is a link at the R1, which would take you directly to what is permitted in the bylaws. I've just Googled the specific zoning bylaws for St. John and gone to the appropriate um, section in the bylaws to give you an idea of what's permitted. And this is, again, very important for buyers. You want to know, for example, if the property allows a home-based occupation, if it allows a garden suite, a secondary suite. This specific zone, 1-unit residential, does. And these are probably the most common questions I get, especially with secondary suites. Property values have gone up, and people are considering putting in secondary suites, either for in-laws or other family members, or to get an additional income. And especially with all the current new federal funding available for these initiatives, it's important to understand what is permitted on the prospective property you're looking to purchase. The fourth valuable online resource for both buyers and sellers are two websites, in fact. CREA's, the Canadian Real Estate Association's website, as well as the New Brunswick Real Estate Board's website. And there's a lot of good data. They produce the most recent stats and reports that outline how the current market is performing. Now, if you go to CREA and you click on CREA stats and you select the respective board of interest, and here it's New Brunswick's Real Estate Board, CREA does a nice job of giving a nice page and a half summary of the last month's market. Now, this isn't specific only to St. John, but to New Brunswick as a whole. If you want more specific information, the New Brunswick Real Estate Board's website provides it. Now, if you go to their website and you go to listings and resources and click on the New Brunswick MLS stats, they break it down by region: Moncton, St. John, Fredericton, and Northern and Valley region. With respect to St. John, if you click on the plus sign, you can download the latest December report. If you open up the report, you'll see it's a 14-page document, and this document goes into depth on all the activity in the last month, and it breaks it down by property type. It gives comparisons from a year ago to 2 years ago to 3 years ago, etc. And there's a lot of valuable information here. Whether you're a seller or a buyer, it is important to understand the current market. Okay, the final bonus resource I would love to share with you is my Market Watch system. And this is a great system for any serious buyer or seller. And I'm just going to briefly walk you through some of the benefits. Now, for buyers, you will receive instant email notifications the second a property gets listed based on the search criteria you provide me. Now, this can be refined by the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, whether you want a garage, and by area. Now, what's important is this is instantaneous. So the second a property gets listed, you will get an email notification with a link to it. Now, in this fast-moving market, this is crucial. Now, we can go to any of the properties within the link provided and get all the pertinent information of that property. So, for example, 315 Nerpus Road, we can click into it and see all their photos. Beautiful property it is. Get its listing description, list price, obviously, lot size, all the pertinent information you will need, including the tax information. All the listings will be saved to the right in a feed, and you can scroll down them to access any of the current inventory. And what's nice is, for example, here you can see this one sold, this one has it. So in real time, this updates the second a property sells and it gets submitted to the real estate board, you will get a notification of the sale price. Now, for sellers, this is an extremely valuable resource, and for buyers to know what properties are actually selling for. But for a seller, you want to be aware of what your competition is being listed at and what they're actually selling for. Now, I call it the nosy neighbor alert for a seller. I can set you up and you can get all the sold properties in your area in real time and click on them to see the condition and to see the list price versus the sell price and how many days it took to sell. Now, as you can see, this one only took 25 days. In this market, as I stated, things are moving pretty quickly. We'll head back to the results and look at just another couple properties. For example, 273 Woolstock sold. Again, lovely curb appeal, nicely landscaped. Here it was listed for $324,900. It sold for $320,000. Again, important to know the list price, and this list price is instantaneous. You don't have to search for it on SNB, which doesn't get updated instantly, but it does here with the Market Watch system. This particular property took 29 days to sell. Again, selling pretty quick in this fast-moving market. Now, you can also search the properties to the left via the map, and they are color-coded. All the green colored properties are currently active. So, important information for the buyers to see what's currently for sale. And all the orange properties have sold pending close. So their sale price won't be posted yet, but they have actually sold. All conditions on that property have been satisfied. All the blue properties on the map, if we click on one, these are the ones that have sold and closed, in which you can actually access the sales information. So for example, 31 Florence Drive, it was listed for $518,000 and it sold for $505,000, and it took 36 days to do so. So if this is a system that you're interested in signing up for, my listing or my information is in the description below. Feel free to either give me a call, text, or email, and I'd be happy to discuss and set you up. Thanks a lot and have a great day.